"Pick it up, you worthless brat! You're ruining my perfect evening!" Serena hissed, kicking the silver tray toward 7-year-old Chloe. The entire ballroom went silent. Everyone watched as the twin girls, treated like slaves in their own father's house, trembled before their evil stepmother on Christmas Eve. Serena smiled, thinking she had finally broken them. But she didn't know what the twins found hidden in the attic 5 minutes ago. She didn't know that the tattered book in Chloe's hand proved this entire mansion didn't belong to Serena. It belonged to the twins' missing mother, and the real owner was about to walk through the front door. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. "Do you think she will ever stop hating us?" Chloe whispered the question in the darkness. She was lying in the small bed she shared with her twin sister Zoe. It was 5 o'clock in the morning in Beverly Hills, California. Outside the window, the sky was still black. Inside their tiny bedroom, the air was cold. Zoe opened her eyes. She looked at her sister. "I do not know," she whispered back. "But we have to get up now. If we are late, she will be angry." The two girls climbed out of bed. They were 7 years old. They were small and thin. They put on old clothes that had holes in them. They did not have warm jackets, even though it was December. They walked quietly down the hallway of the enormous mansion. Their footsteps made no sound. The mansion had 15 rooms. Every room was filled with expensive furniture and decorations. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceilings. Paintings in gold frames covered the walls. But Chloe and Zoe were not allowed to enjoy any of it. This house was their prison. They walked down the grand staircase to the entrance hall. The floor was made of white marble. It was cold and hard. Zoe opened a closet and pulled out 2 buckets, 2 brushes, and soap. She handed 1 bucket and 1 brush to Chloe. "We start here," Zoe said quietly. The twins filled their buckets with hot water from the kitchen sink. They carried the heavy buckets back to the entrance hall. Then they got down on their hands and knees. They began scrubbing the marble floor with their brushes. The soap made their hands sting. The hard floor hurt their knees, but they did not stop. They knew they had to clean the entire mansion before breakfast. They scrubbed in silence for 1 hour. Their arms hurt, their backs hurt. Their small hands turned red from the hot water and soap. Then they heard the sound of high heels clicking on the floor above them. The twins looked up. Their stepmother, Serena Blake, was coming down the stairs. Serena was tall and beautiful. She had blonde hair and cold blue eyes. She wore an expensive white robe and diamond earrings. She looked down at the twins with disgust. "You missed a spot there," Serena said. She pointed at the floor with 1 long finger. "Are you both stupid? Do I have to show you how to clean?" "No, ma'am," Chloe said quickly. Her voice shook. "I am sorry. I will fix it." "You are always sorry," Serena said. Her voice was cold. "But you never do anything right. You are both worthless. Your mother abandoned you because you were not good enough to love. Do you understand that?" Chloe looked down at the floor. Tears filled her eyes. But Zoe looked up at Serena. "You do not know that," Zoe said. Serena's eyes went wide. Then they narrowed. "What did you say to me?" "I said you do not know if our mother abandoned us," Zoe repeated. Her voice was quiet but firm. "You did not know her." Serena walked down the last few steps. She stood over Zoe. Then she raised her hand and slapped Zoe across the face. The sound echoed in the entrance hall. Chloe gasped. Zoe's cheek turned red, but she did not cry. She stared at Serena with hatred in her eyes. "Do not ever talk back to me again," Serena said. "Now finish cleaning. You have the kitchen next, and after that, you will wash all the dishes from last night." Serena turned and walked away. Her heels clicked on the marble floor. Chloe reached over and touched Zoe's red cheek. "Does it hurt?" Chloe whispered. "Yes," Zoe said, "but I do not care." The twins finished scrubbing the entrance hall. Then they carried their buckets to the kitchen. The kitchen was huge. It had white cabinets and stainless steel appliances. The sink was filled with dirty dishes from the night before. Serena and their father Michael had eaten a big dinner. The twins had not been allowed to eat until Serena and Michael were finished. By the time the twins got to eat, the food was cold and there was almost nothing left. Zoe turned on the hot water in the sink. Steam rose up. She put her hands in the water and began washing the dishes. The water was so hot it burned her skin, but she did not complain. Chloe stood next to her and dried each dish with a towel. When the dishes were done, Serena called them to the formal dining room. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. Serena sat at the head of a long table. She wore a black dress now, and her hair and makeup were perfect. Next to her sat Michael Chen, the twins' father. Michael was tall with black hair that was turning gray. He wore an expensive suit. He did not look at Chloe and Zoe when they entered the room. He never looked at them. "Serve the breakfast," Serena ordered. Chloe and Zoe went back to the kitchen. They carried plates of fresh fruit, warm pastries, scrambled eggs, and bacon to the dining room. They placed the food in front of Serena and Michael. The smell made their stomachs hurt because they were so hungry, but they were not allowed to eat yet. Serena ate slowly. She cut her food into small pieces. Michael read a newspaper and ate without speaking. The twins stood against the wall and watched. Chloe's hands were shaking. Zoe held her breath. Finally, after 30 minutes, Serena pushed her plate away. "You may clear the table," she said. Chloe and Zoe picked up the plates and carried them back to the kitchen. There were a few bites of eggs left on Serena's plate and one piece of bacon on Michael's plate. There was also one cold piece of toast. "You eat first," Zoe said to Chloe. "No, we share," Chloe said. They split the cold eggs, the bacon, and the toast. It was not enough food for 2 growing children, but it was all they had. They ate standing up in the kitchen. They ate quickly before Serena could come back and tell them to stop. When they finished, they heard the doorbell ring. Serena's voice called out, "Get the door!" Zoe ran to the front door and opened it. A group of 5 people stood outside. They were professional decorators. They carried boxes of gold ornaments, white roses, and lights. "We are here to set up for the Christmas Eve gala," one woman said. Zoe stepped aside and let them in. The decorators began working immediately. They hung gold ornaments on the staircase. They placed white roses in crystal vases. They set up tall candles and draped lights across the ceiling. Serena walked through the rooms and gave orders. "No, not there. Move that to the left. The roses need to be perfect. This party will have 200 guests. Everything must be perfect." She turned and saw Chloe and Zoe standing in the corner. "Come with me," she said. The twins followed Serena up the stairs to her bedroom. Serena opened her enormous closet. She pulled out 2 dresses and threw them at the twins. The dresses were old and torn. They were stained and too small. "You will wear these at the party," Serena said. "You will serve champagne and food to my guests. You will be polite and quiet. If you make even one mistake, I will punish you. Do you understand?" "Yes, ma'am," Chloe whispered. Serena looked at them with disgust. 200 of the wealthiest people in Los Angeles will be here on Christmas Eve. You will not embarrass me." She turned and walked out of the room. The twins stood holding the torn dresses. Chloe started crying. "I am scared," Chloe said. "What if I make a mistake? What if I drop something?" "You will not," Zoe said. She put her arm around her sister. "We will be careful. We will survive this. We always do." That night, the twins lay in their small bed. The mansion was finally quiet. The decorators had left. Serena and Michael had gone to their bedroom on the other side of the house. Chloe and Zoe held hands under the thin blanket. "How can we escape when we have nowhere to go?" Chloe whispered. Zoe was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I do not know yet, but I feel like something is about to change." Chloe closed her eyes. She wanted to believe her sister. She wanted to believe that things could get better. But she was too tired and too scared to hope. Outside the window, snow began to fall on Beverly Hills. Christmas was coming, and with it, everything in their lives was about to change forever. 4 days passed quickly. Now it was December 24th. Christmas Eve had arrived. Chloe woke up with her heart pounding. Today was the day of the party. She looked at Zoe, who was already awake and staring at the ceiling. "Are you scared?" Chloe whispered. "Yes," Zoe admitted, "but we will get through this together." The twins got dressed. They put on the old torn dresses Serena had given them. The dresses were too small. The fabric was rough against their skin. They looked at themselves in the small mirror on the wall. They looked like servants from 100 years ago. Downstairs, the mansion had been transformed. Gold ornaments covered every surface. White roses filled crystal vases in every room. Candles stood on tall silver holders. The grand ballroom had been opened for the first time in months. A stage had been set up at one end. Chairs covered in white fabric were arranged in neat rows. A space had been cleared for dancing. At 6 o'clock in the evening, a live orchestra arrived. 12 musicians in black suits carried violins, cellos, and other instruments. They began setting up on the stage. They played a few notes to test the sound. The music echoed through the enormous room. Serena appeared at the top of the staircase at 6:30. She wore a long red gown that sparkled with crystals. It had cost $15,000. Her blonde hair was styled in perfect curls. She wore diamond jewelry on her ears, neck, and wrists. She looked like a queen. She walked down the stairs slowly so everyone could admire her. Michael stood at the bottom of the stairs in a black suit. He smiled at her. "You look beautiful," he said. "I know," Serena replied. She turned and saw Chloe and Zoe standing near the kitchen door. "Come here," she ordered. The twins walked over to her. Serena looked them up and down with disgust. "You look pathetic," she said. "But that is perfect. I want my guests to see how generous I am for keeping you in my home." She led them to the kitchen. On the counter were 6 silver trays. Each tray held 12 crystal champagne glasses filled with golden liquid. There were also trays covered with small appetizers, shrimp, cheese, crackers, and other expensive foods. "You will carry these trays to my guests," Serena said. "You will walk through the ballroom and offer drinks and food. You will say, 'Would you like champagne?' or 'Would you like an appetizer?' You will smile. You will be polite. If you drop anything, if you spill anything, if you make any mistake at all, I will make you regret it. Do you understand?" "Yes, ma'am," Chloe and Zoe said together. "Good," Serena said. She looked at her diamond watch. "The guests will start arriving in 30 minutes. She walked out of the kitchen. Her red dress swept across the floor behind her. Zoe looked at the trays of champagne glasses. "Those trays look very heavy," she said. "I know," Chloe said. Her hands were already shaking. At 7 o'clock, the guests began to arrive. Expensive cars pulled up to the mansion one after another. Men in suits and women in elegant gowns stepped out. They walked up the front steps and through the massive front doors. Serena stood in the entrance hall and greeted each person with a perfect smile. "Welcome. I am so glad you could come. You look stunning. Please go into the ballroom. The orchestra is playing. There are drinks and food." The guests moved into the ballroom. The orchestra played classical music. People talked and laughed. The room filled with the sound of conversation and clinking glasses. Chloe picked up one of the silver trays. It held 12 champagne glasses. The tray was so heavy her arms shook immediately. Zoe picked up a tray of appetizers. It was lighter but still difficult to hold steady. "Ready?" Zoe asked. Chloe nodded even though she did not feel ready at all. They walked into the ballroom. 200 guests filled the enormous space. Women wore gowns in every color. Men wore expensive suits. Everyone looked rich and perfect. No one looked at the 2 small girls in torn dresses. Zoe approached a group of women. "Would you like an appetizer?" she asked quietly. The women took food from her tray without looking at her. They did not say thank you. They continued talking to each other as if Zoe was invisible. Chloe walked to a different group. "Would you like champagne?" she asked. A man in a gray suit took a glass. He did not look at her face. He took the glass and turned away. For 1 hour, the twins moved through the crowd. Their arms ached. Their feet hurt. Chloe's tray seemed to get heavier with each step. She had already made 3 trips back to the kitchen to refill her tray. Each time, the glasses seemed harder to balance. Serena watched them from across the room. Her blue eyes followed their every move. When Chloe moved too slowly, Serena glared at her. When Zoe stood in one place too long, Serena made a sharp gesture telling her to keep moving. At 8:30, the orchestra took a break. Serena walked onto the stage. She picked up a microphone. The room became quiet. "Good evening, everyone," Serena said. Her voice was smooth and warm. "I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. Your presence means the world to me." The guests applauded politely. "As many of you know," Serena continued, "I believe strongly in charity and giving back to our community. That is why tonight I am announcing a donation of $100,000 to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles." The room erupted in applause. People smiled and nodded. Someone called out, "How generous!" Chloe stood near the edge of the crowd, holding her heavy tray. She wanted to scream. Serena was talking about charity while forcing 2 7-year-old children to work like slaves. She was talking about helping children while she hurt them every single day. It was all lies. But Chloe said nothing. She held her tray and tried to keep her arms from shaking. A man in a dark blue suit was standing next to her. He was talking on his phone. He was not paying attention to anything around him. He gestured with his hand while he talked. "I do not care what the numbers say," the man said into his phone. "I want that deal closed by Monday." He took a step backward. His elbow hit Chloe's tray. Everything happened very fast. The tray tilted. Chloe tried to hold on to it, but it was too heavy and it was already falling. 12 crystal champagne glasses slid off the silver tray. They fell through the air. Then they hit the white marble floor. The sound was terrible. Glass shattered everywhere. Champagne splashed across the floor. Pieces of crystal scattered in every direction. The orchestra stopped playing. Every single person in the ballroom turned to look. 200 guests stared at Chloe standing in the middle of the broken glass. Chloe could not move. She could not breathe. She stared down at the mess at her feet. Then she heard the clicking of high heels. Serena was walking toward her. Fast. Serena's face was red with rage. Her blue eyes were like ice and fire at the same time. She crossed the ballroom in seconds. She stopped right in front of Chloe. "You stupid girl!" Serena screamed. Her voice echoed through the silent room. "You clumsy, worthless, stupid girl! Look what you have done!" Chloe started crying. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry. He bumped into me. I tried to hold it. I am sorry." "You are always sorry," Serena yelled. "But sorry does not fix anything. You are useless. You cannot do anything right." Serena lifted her foot and kicked the silver tray. It flew across the floor and crashed into a wall. The loud sound made several guests jump. Some people looked uncomfortable. A few women whispered to each other, but no one said anything. No one told Serena to stop. No one defended a crying 7-year-old child. Chloe sobbed. Tears ran down her face. She looked around desperately for Zoe. Zoe pushed through the crowd. She reached Chloe and grabbed her hand. "Come on," Zoe said. "Where do you think you are going?" Serena shouted, but Zoe did not answer. She pulled Chloe toward the ballroom doors. They ran past the guests. They ran through the entrance hall. They ran up the grand staircase. Their feet pounded on the steps. "Get back here!" Serena screamed behind them. But the twins kept running. They reached the second floor and kept going. They found the narrow staircase that led to the attic. They climbed the stairs as fast as they could. At the top, Zoe pushed open the old wooden door. The attic was dark and dusty. It smelled like old wood and forgotten things. Moonlight came through one small window. The twins could see shapes of furniture covered with white sheets. Boxes were stacked everywhere. They ran to the back of the attic and hid behind a stack of boxes. They sat on the floor and held each other. Chloe cried into Zoe's shoulder. Zoe's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. "She is going to hurt us," Chloe sobbed. "She is going to hurt us so badly." "I know," Zoe said. She was crying too now. "I know." They sat there in the darkness, holding each other and crying. Below them, they could hear the orchestra start playing again. The party continued. No one cared about two little girls hiding in an attic. After a few minutes, Zoe's eyes adjusted to the darkness. She looked around the attic. She had never been up here before. There was so much old furniture and so many boxes. Then she saw something strange. In the corner there was an old mirror with a cracked frame. Behind the mirror, something did not look right. Zoe stood up slowly. She walked over to the mirror. She looked closely at the wall behind it. There was a wooden panel, and it was loose. "Chloe," Zoe whispered, "come look at this." Chloe wiped her eyes and walked over to where Zoe was standing. She looked at the old mirror with the cracked frame, then she looked at the wall behind it. "What is it?" Chloe whispered. "Look," Zoe said. She pointed at the wooden panel. "It is loose. I think something is behind it." Zoe reached out and touched the panel. It moved slightly. She grabbed the edge and pulled. The wood was old and came away from the wall easily. Behind it was a dark space. "There is something in there," Zoe said. She reached into the dark space. Her fingers touched something solid. She pulled it out carefully. It was a small wooden box covered in thick dust. The dust made Zoe sneeze. Chloe stared at the box. "What is it?" "I do not know," Zoe said. "Let us open it." The twins carried the box to the small window where moonlight came through. They sat down on the dusty floor. Zoe tried to open the box, but it was locked. She looked around and found an old metal letter opener on a nearby table. She used it to break the small lock. The lock broke with a snap. Zoe opened the lid slowly. Inside the box were papers and a book. Zoe lifted out the book first. It was made of brown leather. On the front cover, words were written in gold letters. "Maya Roberts." Chloe gasped. "That is our mother's name." "I know," Zoe said quietly. Zoe opened the diary. On the first page, words were written in neat handwriting. "This diary belongs to Maya Roberts. If you are reading this, please help me. Please save my daughters Chloe and Zoe." Tears filled Chloe's eyes immediately. "She wrote about us," she whispered. Zoe kept looking through the box. There were official papers with stamps and signatures. There were bank statements. There were photographs. Zoe picked up one photograph and held it in the moonlight. The photograph showed a beautiful woman with long dark hair and dark eyes. She was sitting in a hospital bed holding two tiny babies wrapped in pink blankets. The woman was smiling. She looked so happy. "That is her," Chloe said. Her voice shook. "That is our mother." Zoe looked at the babies in the photograph. "And that is us." Chloe reached out and touched the photograph with one finger. "She is holding us. She looks like she loves us." "She does love us," Zoe said. "I told you she did not leave us." Zoe put the photograph down carefully. She picked up the diary again. "We need to read this," she said. The twins sat close together under the window. Zoe held the diary so both of them could see. She turned to the first page and began to read out loud. January 15th. Chloe and Zoe are 3 weeks old today. They are perfect. I love them more than anything in the world. But something is wrong. I feel sick all the time. I feel confused. I cannot think clearly. Michael says I am just tired from being a new mother. But this feels different. This feels wrong. Zoe turned the page. January 20th, I am getting worse. I feel dizzy. My hands shake. I cannot remember things. Yesterday, I forgot what day it was. Serena brings me tea and soup every day. She says she wants to help me, but after I eat or drink, I feel even more confused. I think something is in the food. Chloe grabbed Zoe's arm. "She is drugging her," Chloe whispered. "Serena is putting something in the food." Zoe nodded and kept reading. January 25th. I told Michael I think Serena is drugging me. He said I am being paranoid. He said I am imagining things. He said I need to rest. But I am not imagining it. I am sure. Why will he not believe me? I am scared. I am so scared. Zoe's hands were shaking now. She turned more pages. February 1st. Serena told Michael I am going insane. She said I am dangerous. She said I might hurt the babies. That is a lie. I would never hurt my daughters. Never. But Michael believes her. He always believes her. A doctor came to see me today. His name is Dr. Richard Crane. He asked me questions. I tried to tell him about Serena drugging me. He wrote things down, but he did not believe me. I heard him tell Michael that I am mentally ill. Chloe started crying again. They are lying about her. They are all lying. Keep listening, Zoe said. She turned to the next page. February 7th. This is my last entry. Tonight, Serena called an ambulance. Men in white uniforms came into my bedroom. They said I have to go to a hospital. I screamed. I begged them to let me stay with Chloe and Zoe. I begged Michael to stop them, but Michael signed papers. He let them take me. The men put me on a stretcher. They carried me out of the house. I could hear my babies crying. I screamed for them. No one listened. If someone finds this diary, please know the truth. I am not insane. Serena drugged me. Dr. Crane lied. Michael betrayed me. Please save my daughters. Please tell them I love them. Please tell them I did not want to leave. Zoe closed the diary. Both twins were crying now. They cried for several minutes without speaking. Finally, Chloe said, "She did not leave us. She wanted to stay. They took her away." "I know," Zoe said. She wiped her eyes. "Serena lied. She lied about everything." Zoe put the diary down and picked up the official papers from the box. There were many pages with legal words. Zoe did not understand all the words, but she understood enough. "Look at this," Zoe said. She pointed at one document. "This paper says the mansion belongs to Maya Roberts. It says she inherited it from her parents Margaret and Thomas Roberts. It does not say anything about Michael." Chloe looked at the paper. "So this house is our mother's house?" "Yes," Zoe said. "Michael has no right to it. Serena has no right to it. They stole it." Zoe picked up another paper. It was a bank statement. "Look at this. This shows that $3 million was moved from an account with Maya's name to an account with Serena's name. The signature at the bottom says Maya Roberts, but I do not think our mother signed this. I think Serena forged her signature." "What does forged mean?" Chloe asked. "It means Serena wrote our mother's name to make it look like our mother gave her permission," Zoe explained. "But our mother did not give permission. Serena stole the money." Chloe looked at all the papers spread out on the floor. She looked at the diary. She looked at the photograph of Maya holding them as babies. "Where is she now?" Chloe asked. "Is she still alive?" "I do not know," Zoe said quietly. "But now we know the truth. Serena is a criminal. She drugged our mother. She stole her. She stole this house. She stole money. And she has been lying to us our whole lives." Zoe stood up suddenly. Her eyes were bright with determination. "What are you doing?" Chloe asked. "We are going to show everyone the truth," Zoe said. "Tonight, right now." Chloe stood up too. "What do you mean?" "There are 200 people downstairs," Zoe said. "Rich people, important people, people who know lawyers and police. We are going to show them this diary. We are going to show them these papers. We are going to tell them what Serena did." Chloe's eyes went wide with fear. "Zoe, no, Serena will hurt us. She will be so angry." "I do not care," Zoe said. Her voice was strong. "I am tired of being scared. I am tired of being hurt. Our mother did not leave us. She was trying to protect us. Now we need to protect ourselves. We need to tell the truth." "But what if no one believes us?" Chloe asked. "We are just children. Serena is an adult. She is beautiful and rich, and everyone thinks she is perfect. Zoe picked up the diary and the papers. She held them tightly. She looked at her sister. "Then we make them believe," Zoe said. Chloe looked at the diary and papers in Zoe's hands. She looked at her sister's determined face. Then she took a deep breath. "Okay," Chloe said. "I am with you." Zoe reached out and took Chloe's hand. Together they walked to the attic door. Zoe held the diary and papers under her other arm. They opened the door and walked down the narrow staircase. Their hearts were beating so fast. When they reached the second floor, they could hear music and voices from below. The party was still happening. The orchestra was playing. People were laughing and talking. "Are you ready?" Zoe whispered. "No," Chloe admitted, "but let us do it anyway." They walked down the grand staircase together. Their old torn dresses looked even worse now because they were covered in dust from the attic. Their faces were streaked with tears, but they held their heads up and kept walking. At the bottom of the stairs, they turned toward the ballroom. The massive doors were open. Inside, 200 guests filled the room. The women wore beautiful gowns. The men wore expensive suits. Everyone held champagne glasses. Everyone looked happy and perfect. The twins walked through the doorway. Some guests near the entrance noticed them and stepped aside. A woman in a silver dress looked at them with surprise. "Are those the little girls from earlier?" she whispered to her husband. "I think so," the man whispered back. "What are they doing?" More people began to notice the twins. Conversations stopped. People turned to look. The crowd parted as Chloe and Zoe walked through the ballroom. Zoe held Chloe's hand tightly. She kept her eyes forward. She walked toward the stage at the front of the room. On the stage, Serena stood holding a microphone. She was in the middle of a speech. She had not noticed the twins yet. "And that is why," Serena was saying, "I believe we all have a responsibility to help those less fortunate than ourselves. Together, we can make a difference in our community." The guests were listening to her. Some nodded, some smiled. They all thought Serena was generous and kind. Zoe reached the steps at the side of the stage. She climbed up. Chloe followed right behind her. Their feet made soft sounds on the wooden stage floor. Serena was still talking. "It is my honor to serve as a role model for—" She stopped. She had finally seen the twins. They were standing on the stage just a few feet away from her. Serena's mouth fell open. Her blue eyes went wide with shock. Then her expression changed to pure rage. "What are you doing?" Serena hissed. She covered the microphone with her hand so the guests could not hear. "Get off this stage right now!" But Zoe did not move. Instead, she stepped forward. She held up the leather diary high so everyone could see it. "This is our mother's diary!" Zoe shouted. Her voice was loud and clear. "Her name is Maya Roberts. Serena told us our mother abandoned us, but that is a lie." The entire ballroom went silent. 200 guests stared at the stage. The orchestra stopped playing mid-song. Serena's face turned red. "You little—" But Chloe stepped forward too. Her hands were shaking, but she held up the legal papers. "These papers prove that Serena stole our mother." Chloe's voice was quieter than Zoe's, but everyone could still hear her. "Serena drugged our mother and took her away. Serena stole this house. Serena stole money." Gasps filled the ballroom. Guests whispered to each other, "Is this true? What is happening? Those poor children." Serena dropped the microphone. It fell to the stage floor with a loud screech that echoed through the room. She lunged toward Zoe and tried to grab the diary. "Give me that!" Serena screamed. But Zoe pulled the diary away. "No, everyone needs to see the truth." Serena turned to Chloe and tried to grab the papers. Chloe held them behind her back. "These children are insane!" Serena shouted to the crowd. "They are making up stories. They are mentally ill just like their mother was." "We are not lying," Zoe yelled. "Read the diary. Read the papers. Dr. Richard Crane was paid $500,000 to say our mother was insane." But she was not. Serena drugged her. More gasps came from the crowd. People pulled out their phones and started recording. Serena looked around wildly. She saw the phones. She saw the shocked faces. She was losing control. "Security!" Serena screamed. "Security! Get up here now!" Two large men in black suits pushed through the crowd. They were security guards Serena had hired for the party. They climbed onto the stage. "Throw these children out of my house!" Serena ordered. "Now!" The first security guard reached for Zoe. Zoe held the diary tight against her chest. "Do not touch her," Chloe cried. But the second guard reached for her too. Chloe started crying. "Please, we are telling the truth. Please believe us." Some guests looked uncomfortable. A few women looked like they wanted to help, but no one moved. No one knew what to do. The first guard's hand was inches from Zoe's arm. Everything seemed lost. Then suddenly, a sound echoed through the ballroom. It was the sound of the massive front doors being thrown open. The doors hit the walls with a loud bang. Cold December air rushed into the room. Everyone turned to look. A woman stood in the doorway. She was tall. She wore a black suit that fit her perfectly. Her dark brown hair was pulled back in a sleek style. Her dark brown eyes were intense and powerful. She carried a leather briefcase in one hand. She stood completely still for a moment, looking at the crowd. Then she began to walk. Her high heels clicked on the marble floor. Click, click, click. Each step was slow and deliberate. The sound was the only noise in the completely silent ballroom. The crowd parted for her. People stepped aside quickly. Everyone stared at her. The woman walked past the guests. She walked across the ballroom. Her eyes were locked on the stage, on Serena. Chloe stared at the woman. There was something familiar about her face, about her eyes. Zoe's mouth fell open. She looked at the woman. Then she looked at the photograph she was holding. The photograph of the beautiful woman holding two baby girls. It was her, the woman from the photograph, but older, stronger. "Mom?" Zoe whispered. The woman reached the stage. She climbed the steps. She walked past the security guards, who stepped back without being told. She walked past Serena, who stood frozen. She stopped in front of Chloe and Zoe. She looked down at her daughters. Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. "Hello, my darlings," the woman said softly. "I am Maya Roberts. I am your mother. And I have come home." Chloe dropped the papers. They scattered on the stage floor. "Mommy?" she whispered. Maya knelt down. She opened her arms. Chloe and Zoe ran to her. They threw their arms around her neck. They buried their faces in her shoulders. They cried. Maya held them tight. She closed her eyes and breathed in. "I am so sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry, but I am here now. I will never leave you again." Behind Maya, two police officers in uniform entered the ballroom. They walked through the silent crowd. They climbed onto the stage. Maya stood up slowly. She kept one hand on each of her daughters. She opened her briefcase with her free hand. She pulled out a stack of documents. "Officers," Maya said. Her voice was calm and clear. "I am Maya Roberts. 7 years ago, I was illegally committed to Hillcrest Psychiatric Hospital through fraud and bribery. I was held there against my will while this woman, Serena Blake, stole my home, my money, and my children." She handed the documents to the first officer. "These are bank records showing that Serena Blake transferred $3 million from my accounts using forged signatures. These are recordings of Serena bribing Dr. Richard Crane with $500,000 to falsify medical documents. These are statements from hospital staff confirming I was illegally detained." The officer looked through the documents. His face became serious. Maya turned to look at Serena. Serena was shaking. Her face was white. 6 months ago, Maya continued, I finally convinced a judge to review my case. The judge found that I was never mentally ill. I was released immediately. Since then, I have been working with lawyers and investigators to gather evidence against Serena Blake and Dr. Richard Crane. The second officer stepped toward Serena. "Ma'am, I need you to come with us." "No!" Serena screamed. "This is wrong! She is lying! She is insane!" "Ma'am, please do not make this difficult," the officer said firmly. He reached for Serena's arm. She tried to pull away, but the officer was stronger. The second officer came to help. Together, they pulled Serena's arms behind her back. They placed handcuffs on her wrists. The metal clicked shut. The 200 guests watched in complete silence. Some recorded on their phones. Some whispered. Some looked ashamed that they had believed Serena's lies for so long. "This is not fair!" Serena screamed as the officers led her off the stage. Michael, tell them! Tell them I did nothing wrong!" Everyone turned to look at Michael Chen. He stood at the back of the crowd. His face was white. His hands were shaking. He said nothing. The officers led Serena toward the ballroom doors. She fought against them. She twisted and pulled. She screamed and cursed. "This is a mistake! I did nothing wrong! That woman is a liar!" But the officers held her firmly. They walked her through the crowd of guests. Everyone stepped back to let them pass. No one helped Serena. No one spoke in her defense. As they reached the doors, Serena turned her head and screamed at Michael one more time. "Michael, do something! This is your fault too! You signed the papers! You helped me!" Every person in the room turned to look at Michael again. He stood near the back wall. His face was completely white now. He looked like he might collapse. The officers took Serena out of the ballroom. The sound of her screaming faded as they walked her through the mansion to the front door. Outside, red and blue police lights flashed in the darkness. Maya stood on the stage holding Chloe and Zoe. The twins pressed against her sides. They held onto her jacket. They were afraid to let go, afraid she might disappear. The guests in the ballroom began to whisper. "Did you hear what she said? 7 years? She was in a psychiatric hospital this whole time? Serena stole everything? Those poor little girls. I cannot believe we trusted Serena." Maya looked out at the crowd. She spoke clearly so everyone could hear. "I apologize for interrupting your evening. I know this is shocking, but I want you all to know the truth. Serena Blake drugged me, bribed a doctor to declare me insane, and had me locked away so she could steal my life. She took my home. She took my money. And worst of all, she took my daughters." Some women in the crowd started crying. A few men shook their heads in disgust. Maya continued. "For 7 years, I fought to prove I was not insane. For 7 years, I tried to escape that hospital. For 7 years, all I thought about was getting back to Chloe and Zoe. 6 months ago, a judge finally reviewed my case. He saw that the documents were forged. He saw that I was being held illegally. He released me immediately." Maya's voice grew stronger. "Since then, I have been working with lawyers and investigators. We gathered evidence against Serena Blake and Dr. Richard Crane. Tonight, justice has finally come." The crowd was silent. Then one woman started clapping, then another. Soon the entire ballroom was filled with applause. Maya looked down at Chloe and Zoe. "Let us go upstairs," she said softly. "You do not need to be here anymore." She led them off the stage. The guests made a path for them. Some people reached out to touch Maya's arm or shoulder as she passed. They said things like, "We are so sorry," and "Welcome home." Maya nodded at them but did not stop walking. She held her daughters close and led them toward the ballroom doors. That is when Michael finally moved. He stepped away from the wall. He walked toward Maya. His steps were unsteady. He looked like a man in a nightmare. "Maya," he said. His voice cracked. "Maya, please. Wait." Maya stopped. She turned to face him. Her expression was cold. Chloe and Zoe held on to her even tighter. Michael stopped a few feet away. He looked at Maya. Then he looked at his daughters. Tears filled his eyes. "Maya, I am so sorry," he said. "I am so, so sorry." I did not know what to do. Serena told me you were sick. The doctor said you were dangerous. I thought I was doing the right thing. The right thing? Maya's voice was quiet but hard. You thought taking me away from my 3-week-old babies was the right thing? I was confused, Michael said. Serena said, I do not care what Serena said, Maya interrupted. You are their father. You watched them for 7 years. You saw what was happening to them. Michael looked at Chloe and Zoe. The girls stared back at him with fear and anger in their eyes. I know, Michael whispered. I know I failed them. I failed all of you. You did more than fail, Maya said. You betrayed us. You chose comfort over courage. You chose silence over action. Michael's legs seemed to give out. He fell to his knees on the marble floor, right there in front of 200 guests. Tears ran down his face. Please, he begged, please forgive me. I will do anything. I will make it right. Please give me another chance. Maya looked down at him. She felt no pity. She felt no sympathy. This man had signed the papers that took her away. This man had watched Serena abuse their daughters and done nothing. You want forgiveness? Maya asked. Her voice was ice. You want another chance? Yes, Michael sobbed. Please, Maya, please. Maya knelt down so she was at his level. She looked directly into his eyes. You watched your daughters scrub floors on their knees. You watched them go hungry. You watched them be called worthless and stupid. You heard them cry at night, and you did nothing. Michael could not speak. He could only cry. Maya stood up. I will never forgive you, Michael, and I will make sure you never hurt my daughters again. She turned away from him. She led Chloe and Zoe out of the ballroom. Michael stayed on his knees. He covered his face with his hands and wept. The guests stood in uncomfortable silence. Then slowly, they began to leave. They gathered their coats and purses. They walked out of the mansion quietly. No one wanted to stay at Serena's party anymore. Maya led the twins up the grand staircase. They walked down the long hallway on the 2nd floor. Maya opened doors until she found their bedroom. When she saw the tiny room with one small bed and no toys, she stopped breathing for a moment. This is where you sleep? She asked quietly. Yes, Zoe said. Maya's hands clenched into fists, but she took a deep breath and forced herself to stay calm. Her daughters needed her to be strong right now. She walked into the room and sat on the small bed. She patted the space on either side of her. Chloe and Zoe climbed up and sat next to her. I need to tell you everything, Maya said. You deserve to know the whole truth. We found your diary, Zoe said. We read it. We know Serena drugged you. We know about Dr. Crane. Maya looked surprised. You found the diary? How? It was hidden in the attic, Chloe explained, behind a loose panel in the wall. Maya smiled sadly. I hid it there the day before they took me away. I hoped someone would find it someday. I just never imagined it would be you. We are glad we found it, Zoe said. It told us you did not leave us. It told us you loved us. Tears ran down Maya's face. I love you more than anything in the world. You are the reason I survived those 7 years. Every single day I thought about you. I imagined holding you. I imagined hearing you laugh. That hope kept me alive. Did they hurt you in the hospital? Chloe asked quietly. Maya was silent for a moment. Then she nodded. Yes, they gave me medications I did not need. They kept me in a locked room. When I tried to tell people I was not sick, they did not believe me. Dr. Crane had signed papers saying I was dangerous. For years, no one would listen to me. How did you get out? Zoe asked. I never stopped fighting, Maya said. I read every law book in the hospital library. I wrote letters to lawyers. Most ignored me. But 6 months ago, one lawyer believed me. Her name is Jennifer Alvarez. She helped me request a judicial review. A judge looked at my case. He saw that the medical documents were suspicious. He ordered new psychiatric evaluations. 3 different doctors examined me. All three said I was completely sane. The judge released me immediately. And then what happened? Chloe asked. Then I went to war, Maya said. Her voice was strong. Jennifer and I hired private investigators. We found evidence of everything Serena did. We found the bank records showing she stole money. We found recordings of her bribing Dr. Crane. We found nurses willing to testify. We built a case strong enough to put Serena in prison for a very long time. Zoe looked at her mother with admiration. You are strong. Maya put her arms around both girls. I had to be strong, because I had to get back to you. Chloe looked up at Maya with tears in her eyes. Did you really want us? Serena always said you left because we were not good enough. Maya's heart broke. She pulled Chloe close. That is the worst lie of all. You are perfect. You are everything I ever wanted. I wanted you from the moment I knew you existed. I loved you from the moment you were born. Losing you was the most painful thing that ever happened to me. Will you stay now? Zoe asked. You will not leave again? Never, Maya promised. I will never leave you again. This is my house. You are my daughters. We are a family, and nothing will ever separate us. The twins held on to Maya. They were so tired. So much had happened tonight. Their eyes began to close. Maya lay down on the small bed. She held both girls in her arms. They fell asleep against her. For the first time in 7 years, Chloe and Zoe slept peacefully. They were safe. They were loved. They were finally with their mother. Maya woke up when sunlight came through the small window. For a moment, she felt confused. Then she felt the weight of Chloe and Zoe sleeping on either side of her. She looked down at their faces. They looked peaceful. She had not seen them look peaceful in so long. She stayed very still. She did not want to wake them. She studied their faces. They looked so much older than 3 weeks old. Of course they did. They were 7 years old now. She had missed everything. Their first words, their first steps, their first day of school. No, wait. Maya suddenly realized they probably never went to school. Serena would not have let them. Anger burned in Maya's chest, but she pushed it down. She would deal with Serena later. Right now, her daughters needed her. Chloe stirred. She opened her eyes slowly. When she saw Maya, she smiled. Then her smile faded and fear crossed her face. You are still here, Chloe whispered. Of course I am still here, Maya said gently. I told you I would never leave. I thought maybe I dreamed it, Chloe said. I thought maybe I would wake up and you would be gone. I am real, Maya said, and I am not going anywhere. Zoe woke up next. She sat up quickly and looked at Maya. Relief filled her face. Good morning, she said. Good morning, sweetheart, Maya replied. There was a knock on the door. All three of them tensed. Maya stood up and walked to the door. She opened it carefully. Michael stood in the hallway. He looked terrible. His eyes were red and swollen. His hair was messy. He still wore his suit from the party, but it was wrinkled now. Maya, he said quietly, can we talk? No, Maya said. She started to close the door. Michael put his hand on the door. Please, just for a minute, I need to… You need nothing from me, Maya said. Her voice was hard. The only thing I need from you is distance. But they are my daughters too, Michael said. I have a right. You have no rights, Maya interrupted. You gave up your rights when you signed those papers 7 years ago. You gave up your rights when you watched them suffer and did nothing. Michael's face crumpled. I know I made mistakes, terrible mistakes, but I want to fix this. I want to be their father. It is too late, Maya said. You had 7 years to be their father. You chose to be a coward instead. She closed the door in his face. She locked it. Michael stood in the hallway for a moment. Then she heard his footsteps walking away. Maya turned back to Chloe and Zoe. They were sitting on the bed watching her. "We do not want to see him," Zoe said firmly. "You do not have to," Maya promised. "Not unless you want to." "We do not want to," Chloe said. "He never protected us. He just watched." Maya sat back down on the bed. "I understand, and I will make sure you are protected from now on." She pulled her phone from her jacket pocket. She had kept her jacket on all night because she did not want to let go of the girls for even a moment. She dialed a number. A woman's voice answered. "Jennifer Alvarez speaking." "Jennifer, it is Maya," Maya said. "I need you to come to the mansion this morning, as soon as possible." "Of course," Jennifer said immediately. "Is everything okay? Did the plan work?" "Yes," Maya said. "Serena was arrested last night, but now I need to move forward with the next steps." "I will be there in 1 hour," Jennifer said. "I will bring all the necessary documents." "Thank you," Maya said. She ended the call. Zoe looked at her curiously. "Who is Jennifer?" "She is my lawyer," Maya explained. "She is the one who helped me get out of the hospital. She is the one who helped me gather evidence against Serena. And now she is going to help me make sure I get full custody of you and Zoe." "What is custody?" Chloe asked. "It means legal permission to take care of you," Maya said. "Right now, Michael is still legally your father. That means he has rights, but I am going to change that. I am going to make sure the court gives me complete custody. That means only I can make decisions about you. Michael will have no power over you anymore." "Good," Zoe said. "We do not want him to have any power." Maya stood up. "Let us go downstairs. I will make you breakfast. Real breakfast. Whatever you want." The twins looked at each other with surprise. They were not used to being asked what they wanted. "We can have whatever we want," Chloe asked quietly. "Anything," Maya said. "Pancakes, eggs, cereal, fruit." "Pancakes," Zoe said immediately. "With chocolate chips?" Chloe asked hopefully. Maya smiled. "With as many chocolate chips as you want." They went downstairs to the kitchen. Maya looked through the cabinets and refrigerator. Serena had stocked the kitchen with expensive ingredients. Maya found flour, eggs, milk, and a bag of chocolate chips. She made pancakes while Chloe and Zoe sat at the kitchen table and watched. They were amazed. No one had ever cooked for them before. They had always been the ones cooking and serving. Maya put a stack of pancakes in front of each girl. The pancakes were golden and covered with chocolate chips. She added butter and syrup. "Eat as much as you want," Maya said. "And if you want more, I will make more." The twins ate slowly at first, then faster. They were so hungry. Maya sat with them and ate her own pancakes. She watched them eat and felt both joy and rage. Joy because she was finally with them. Rage because of what they had been through. At 9 o'clock, the doorbell rang. Maya went to answer it. A woman in her 40s stood at the door. She had short black hair and wore a gray suit. She carried a leather briefcase. "Jennifer," Maya said. She hugged the woman. "Maya," Jennifer said warmly, "it is good to see you. How are you holding up?" "I am managing," Maya said. "Come in." Jennifer followed Maya into the house. They went to the living room. Chloe and Zoe came in and sat next to their mother on the couch. Jennifer sat in a chair across from them. She opened her briefcase and pulled out several documents. "I prepared these documents in advance," Jennifer said. "I just need you to sign them." She laid the first document on the coffee table. "This is a petition for divorce. It states that you are ending your marriage to Michael Chen immediately. It cites abandonment and failure to protect your children as grounds." Maya picked up a pen and signed the document without hesitation. Jennifer laid out the second document. "This is a petition for full custody of Chloe and Zoe. It requests that the court grant you sole legal and physical custody. It states that Michael has proven himself unfit as a parent." Maya signed that document too. Jennifer pulled out a third document. "This one is more complicated. This is a criminal complaint against Dr. Richard Crane. It accuses him of fraud, bribery, conspiracy, and illegal detainment. I have already filed similar charges on behalf of the 6 other women he did this to." 6 other women? Maya asked. "Yes," Jennifer said. Her face was serious. "Our investigators found 6 other cases where Dr. Crane falsely declared women insane so their families could steal from them. We have been contacting these women. 5 of them are still alive. They all want to testify against him." Maya felt sick. "He did this to 6 other women?" "At least 6 that we know of," Jennifer said. "There may be more." Maya looked at Chloe and Zoe. They were listening to everything. She put her arms around them. "We need to stop him," Maya said. "We need to make sure he can never do this to anyone else." "That is the plan," Jennifer said. "With your testimony and the testimony of the other women, we have a very strong case. Dr. Crane will go to prison for a very long time." Jennifer pulled out one more document. "This is a restraining order against Michael Chen. It states that he cannot come within 500 feet of you or your daughters without permission. He cannot call you. He cannot contact you in any way." Maya signed that document immediately. "What about Serena?" Maya asked. "What will happen to her?" "She is in jail right now," Jennifer said. "She will have a bail hearing tomorrow. But based on the evidence, I believe the judge will deny bail. She is a flight risk. She has access to money and resources. The judge will likely keep her in jail until the trial." "When will the trial be?" Maya asked. "Probably in 3 to 4 months, Jennifer said. "These things take time, but do not worry. The evidence against her is overwhelming. She will be convicted." Maya felt relief wash over her. Serena would face consequences. Dr. Crane would face consequences, and Michael would be kept away from her daughters. Jennifer gathered the documents and put them back in her briefcase. "I will file all of these today. The court will process them quickly given the circumstances." She stood up. Maya stood too and walked her to the door. "Thank you, Jennifer," Maya said, "for everything. You saved my life." Jennifer smiled. "You saved your own life, Maya. I just helped with the paperwork." After Jennifer left, Maya returned to the living room. Chloe and Zoe were sitting together on the couch. "What happens now?" Zoe asked. Maya sat down between them. "Now we start building our new life, together." Over the next few days, Maya worked constantly. She met with Jennifer every morning. She met with private investigators. She prepared for the legal battles ahead. On the 3rd day after Christmas, Jennifer arrived at the mansion with a team of 3 investigators. They wore suits and carried cameras and boxes of equipment. "Maya, these are the investigators I told you about," Jennifer said. "This is Robert Martinez, Susan Chen, and David Wilson. They are going to search the entire mansion for evidence." Maya shook hands with each of them. "Thank you for coming. Serena had 7 years to hide things, but I know she kept records. She was too arrogant to destroy everything." Robert nodded. "People always make mistakes. We will find what she hid." The investigators spent hours searching every room. They looked in closets and drawers. They checked behind paintings and under furniture. They examined filing cabinets in the home office. In Michael's office, Susan found a locked drawer in his desk. She picked the lock carefully. Inside were folders filled with papers. "Maya, come look at this," Susan called. Maya and Jennifer hurried to the office. Susan spread the papers on the desk. They were bank statements and transfer documents. "Look at these signatures," Susan said. She pointed to several documents. "These all say they are signed by Maya Roberts, but look closely. The signatures are slightly different from each other. Someone was forging your signature multiple times." Jennifer took photographs of each document. "This is excellent evidence. We can bring in a handwriting expert to prove these are forgeries." In Serena's bedroom, David found a laptop hidden in the back of her closet. He opened it and began going through the files. "I found emails," David said. "Emails between Serena Blake and Dr. Richard Crane." Maya and Jennifer looked over his shoulder. David opened one email dated 7 years ago, just 3 weeks after Chloe and Zoe were born. The email from Serena read, "Dr. Crane, I need your help with a delicate situation. There is a woman who needs to be declared mentally unfit. I am prepared to pay you generously. Please call me to discuss details." David opened another email from 1 week later. Dr. Crane had written, "I have reviewed the situation. My fee for this service is $500,000, half now, half after the commitment papers are signed." Jennifer took more photographs. "This is perfect. This proves conspiracy and bribery." In the kitchen, Robert found old receipts tucked into a cookbook. The receipts were from a pharmacy. They showed purchases of sedative medications. The dates matched the time period when Maya was being drugged. "She kept receipts," Robert said with amazement. "She actually kept receipts for the drugs she used to poison you." "She probably kept them for tax purposes," Maya said bitterly. "She was always worried about money." By the end of the day, the investigators had found dozens of pieces of evidence: forged bank documents, emails proving bribery, receipts for sedatives, photographs, even a journal where Serena had written about her plans. Jennifer organized everything carefully. This is more than enough. Combined with the testimony from the hospital staff, Serena has no chance. The next day, Jennifer traveled to Hillcrest Psychiatric Hospital. It was 2 hours north of Beverly Hills. Maya went with her. Chloe and Zoe stayed home with a kind woman named Mrs. Garcia, whom Maya had hired to help around the house. Maya had not been back to Hillcrest since the day she was released 6 months ago. When she saw the tall gray building, her hands started shaking. "Are you okay?" Jennifer asked. "I spent 7 years in that building," Maya said quietly. 7 years of my life stolen." Jennifer reached over and squeezed her hand. "You are free now, and we are going to make sure the people who put you here face justice." They went inside. Jennifer had arranged meetings with several staff members who had worked at Hillcrest during Maya's time there. The first person they met was a nurse named Patricia Reyes. She was in her 50s with gray hair and kind eyes. When she saw Maya, tears filled her eyes. "Mrs. Roberts," Patricia said, "I am so sorry. I am so sorry." "You remember me?" Maya asked. "Of course I remember you," Patricia said. "You were here for 7 years. You never belonged here. We all knew it. But Dr. Crane was in charge. He told us you were dangerous. He ordered us to keep you heavily sedated." They sat in a small office. Jennifer took out a recording device. "Patricia, I need you to tell us everything, for the record." Patricia nodded. She took a deep breath. Dr. Crane had complete control over Maya's treatment. He ordered massive doses of sedatives. When Maya tried to tell people she was not sick, he increased her medication. He falsified her medical records. He wrote that she was violent and delusional. But I saw her every day. She was never violent. She was never delusional. She was just a mother trying to get back to her children. Patricia started crying. "I should have done something. I should have reported him. But I was afraid I would lose my job. I have 3 children of my own to feed. I am so ashamed." Maya reached out and took Patricia's hand. "It is not your fault. Dr. Crane was the one with power. He was the one who lied." Jennifer interviewed 2 other nurses that day. Both told similar stories. Dr. Crane had ordered them to keep Maya sedated and isolated. He had threatened to fire anyone who questioned his treatment. "All 3 of you are willing to testify in court?" Jennifer asked. "Yes," all 3 nurses said. On the drive back to Beverly Hills, Maya was quiet. Jennifer glanced at her. "What are you thinking?" Jennifer asked. "I am thinking about Chloe and Zoe," Maya said. "They spent 7 years being abused. They need help, professional help." "I know someone," Jennifer said. "Her name is Dr. Laura Kim. She specializes in childhood trauma. She is the best in Los Angeles." The next day, Dr. Laura Kim came to the mansion. She was a woman in her 40s with long black hair and a warm smile. She wore casual clothes instead of a suit. She carried a bag filled with toys and art supplies. Maya met her at the door. "Thank you for coming, Dr. Kim. Please call me Laura," the doctor said. and thank you for trusting me to help your daughters." Maya brought Chloe and Zoe to the living room. The twins looked nervous when they saw Dr. Kim. "Hello, Chloe and Zoe," Dr. Kim said gently. "My name is Laura. I am here to talk with you, if that is okay." "Are you a doctor?" Zoe asked suspiciously. "I am a different kind of doctor," Laura explained. "I am a doctor who helps children talk about their feelings. I do not give shots or medicine. I just talk and listen." "Why do we need to talk about our feelings?" Chloe asked quietly. "Because you have been through very difficult things," Laura said. "And sometimes when difficult things happen, it helps to talk about them with someone who understands." Maya knelt down next to her daughters. "I will be right here if you need me. But Dr. Kim is here to help. Will you try talking to her?" Chloe and Zoe looked at each other. Then they nodded. The first therapy session was very hard. Dr. Kim asked the twins to draw pictures of their feelings. Chloe drew a picture of a girl standing alone in darkness. When Dr. Kim asked about it, Chloe started crying. "It is my fault," Chloe sobbed. "Everything is my fault. Mom left because I was not good enough. Serena was mean because I am stupid. I dropped the tray because I am clumsy." "No, sweetheart," Dr. Kim said gently. "None of that is true. None of what happened was your fault." But Chloe could not stop crying. She believed everything was her fault. She had believed it for 7 years. Zoe drew a picture of fire. When Dr. Kim asked about it, Zoe grabbed the paper and ripped it into pieces. "I hate her," Zoe shouted. "I hate Serena. I hate what she did to us." Zoe stood up and threw a pillow across the room. Then she threw a toy. Maya tried to calm her, but Zoe pushed her away. "Why did it take you 7 years?" Zoe screamed at Maya. "We needed you. Where were you?" Then Zoe collapsed on the floor and cried. Maya sat next to her and held her while she sobbed. Dr. Kim watched calmly. When Zoe finally stopped crying, Dr. Kim spoke. "It is okay to be angry, Zoe. You have every right to be angry. What happened to you was wrong and unfair." She looked at both twins. "But I need you both to understand something very important. What happened was not your fault. Not any of it. You did nothing wrong." "But Serena said," Chloe started. "Serena lied," Dr. Kim interrupted gently. "Everything she told you was a lie. You are not stupid. You are not clumsy. You are not worthless. You are smart, brave, beautiful children who survived something terrible." The twins looked at her with doubt in their eyes. They wanted to believe her. But 7 years of lies were hard to erase. "This will take time," Dr. Kim told Maya after the session. "They have been traumatized deeply. But with regular therapy, they will heal. I promise you that." Maya enrolled Chloe and Zoe in a private school called Westwood Academy. Their first day was the following Monday. The twins were terrified. Maya drove Chloe and Zoe to Westwood Academy on Monday morning. The school was a beautiful building with red brick walls and large windows. Children in uniforms walked through the front gates carrying backpacks. Chloe and Zoe sat in the back seat staring at all the children. They had never been around other children before. They did not know how to act. They did not know what to say. "I am scared," Chloe whispered. "Me too," Zoe admitted. Maya parked the car and turned to look at them. "I know you are scared, but you are strong. You are braver than you know." "What if the other children do not like us?" Chloe asked. "What if they think we are weird?" Zoe added. "You are not weird," Maya said firmly. "You are wonderful. And if anyone is unkind to you, you tell a teacher immediately, or you call me. I will be here in 5 minutes." She walked them to the front office. The principal, Mrs. Anderson, greeted them warmly. She was a woman in her 60s with white hair and a kind smile. "You must be Chloe and Zoe," Mrs. Anderson said. "Welcome to Westwood Academy. We are so happy to have you here." Mrs. Anderson walked them to their classroom. It was a bright room with colorful posters on the walls. 20 children sat at desks arranged in groups. A teacher stood at the front. She was young with red hair and green eyes. "Everyone, we have 2 new students joining us today," the teacher said. "This is Chloe and Zoe Roberts. Let us make them feel welcome." The children stared at the twins. Some smiled, some whispered to each other. Chloe felt like she might cry. Zoe grabbed her sister's hand. The teacher showed them to 2 empty desks near the window. "My name is Miss Parker. If you need anything, just raise your hand." Maya kissed both girls on the forehead. "I will be back to pick you up at 3 o'clock. You can do this." Then Maya left. Chloe and Zoe sat at their desks feeling completely alone. Miss Parker began teaching a math lesson. She wrote numbers on the board. The other children raised their hands to answer questions, but Chloe and Zoe did not understand. They had never been to school before. They did not know how to do the math. During recess, the children went outside to a playground. There were swings and slides and a basketball court. The children ran and played and laughed. They formed groups and played games together. Chloe and Zoe stood by the fence watching. They did not know how to play. They did not know the rules of any games. A girl with blonde hair and blue eyes walked over to them. "Hi," she said. "I am Emma. Why are you standing here alone?" "We do not know how to play," Zoe said honestly. Emma looked surprised. "You do not know how to play? What do you mean?" "We have never played before," Chloe said quietly. Emma studied them carefully. Then she smiled. "That is okay. I can teach you. Do you want to play jump rope with me and my friends?" Chloe and Zoe looked at each other. Then they nodded. Emma called to 2 other girls. "Sarah, Madison, come meet Chloe and Zoe." The girls came over. They were friendly and patient. They showed the twins how to hold the rope. They showed them how to jump. When Chloe tripped over the rope, they did not laugh. They just said, "Try again." At lunch, Emma invited the twins to sit with her. She opened her lunchbox and pulled out a sandwich, an apple, and a package of cookies. Chloe and Zoe opened their lunchboxes. Maya had packed them sandwiches, fruit, juice boxes, and cookies too. It was more food than they had ever been allowed to eat before. "Your cookies look good," Emma said. She held out her package. "Want to trade? You can have one of mine and I will have one of yours." Chloe looked confused. "You want to share with us?" "Of course," Emma said. "That is what friends do." Chloe's eyes filled with tears. "Friends?" "Yes," Emma said. She smiled. "We are friends now." That afternoon, Maya picked up the twins at 3 o'clock. They ran to the car, talking excitedly. "Mom, there is a girl named Emma and she is so nice. We learned how to jump rope. We made friends." Maya felt tears of happiness in her eyes. Her daughters were finally getting to be children. That same day, Jennifer called with news. The trial date has been set. Serena Blake and Dr. Richard Crane will go on trial in 3 weeks at the Los Angeles Superior Court. 3 weeks passed quickly. During that time, Chloe and Zoe continued therapy with Dr. Kim. They went to school every day. They slowly learned how to be normal children. They made more friends. They laughed more. They smiled more. Maya spent her days preparing for the trial. She met with Jennifer and went over her testimony again and again. She met with the other women who had been victims of Dr. Crane. Their stories were heartbreaking. On the first day of the trial, Maya wore a black suit. She left Chloe and Zoe at home with Mrs. Garcia and Dr. Kim. She did not want her daughters to hear the terrible details of what had happened. The courthouse was packed with journalists and activists. The case had become national news. Everyone wanted to see Serena Blake and Dr. Richard Crane face justice. Maya walked into the courtroom with Jennifer. The room was large with wooden benches and a judge's bench at the front. A jury of 12 people sat in a box to the side. Serena and Dr. Crane sat at the defense table with their lawyers. Serena wore an orange jail uniform. Her blonde hair was messy. She had no makeup. She looked nothing like the elegant woman from the Christmas party. When Serena saw Maya, hatred filled her eyes. But Maya did not look away. She stared at Serena with cold strength. Dr. Crane sat with his head down. He looked like a broken man. The judge entered. Everyone stood. The judge sat and told everyone else to sit. "We are here for the case of the state of California versus Serena Blake and Dr. Richard Crane," the judge said. "The defendants are charged with kidnapping, fraud, bribery, forgery, and conspiracy. How do the defendants plead?" Serena's lawyer stood. "Not guilty, Your Honor." Dr. Crane's lawyer stood. "Not guilty, Your Honor." The prosecution lawyer stood next. Her name was Ms. Rebecca Torres. She was a strong woman with dark hair and sharp eyes. "Your Honor, the state will prove beyond any doubt that these defendants committed terrible crimes. We will present bank records showing that Serena Blake stole $3 million from Maya Roberts using forged signatures. We will present audio recordings of Serena Blake bribing Dr. Richard Crane with $500,000. We will present testimony from hospital staff proving that Maya Roberts was illegally detained for 7 years." Ms. Torres turned to look at Serena and Dr. Crane. "These defendants destroyed lives for money. The state will prove this, and we will seek the maximum sentences." The trial began. Ms. Torres called her first witness. It was a bank manager who testified about the forged signatures and stolen money. He brought documents and explained each one carefully. The jury listened closely. They took notes. They looked at Serena with disgust. The next witness was a forensic accountant. She testified that $3 million had been transferred from Maya's accounts to Serena's accounts over 7 years. She showed the jury detailed records. The third witness was a handwriting expert. He testified that the signatures on the bank documents were forgeries. He showed the jury how the signatures did not match Maya's real signature. On the second day of the trial, Ms. Torres played the audio recordings. The courtroom listened in silence as they heard Serena's voice bribing Dr. Crane. "I need this woman declared insane. Can you do that for me? My fee is $500,000. Half now, half after the commitment papers are signed." "Done. I will have the money transferred to your account today." The jury looked shocked. Several people in the courtroom gasped. On the third day, Patricia Reyes took the stand. She was nervous but determined. She told the jury about Dr. Crane's orders to keep Maya heavily sedated. "I saw Mrs. Roberts every day for 7 years, Patricia testified. "She was never violent. She was never delusional. She was a sane woman being held prisoner. Dr. Crane falsified her medical records. He did this for money." 2 other nurses testified with similar stories. The jury listened with anger on their faces. On the 4th day, the other victims of Dr. Crane testified. 5 women told stories of being falsely declared insane. They told stories of being locked away while their families stole their money. One woman cried the entire time she testified. Another woman was so angry she yelled at Dr. Crane from the witness stand. "You destroyed my life. You took 5 years from me." The judge had to tell her to calm down. On the 5th day, Maya took the stand. She wore a navy blue suit. She walked to the witness chair with her head held high. She placed her hand on the Bible and swore to tell the truth. Ms. Torres approached her. "Please state your name for the record." "My name is Maya Roberts." "Mrs. Roberts, can you tell the jury what happened to you 7 years ago?" Maya took a deep breath. Then she told her story. She told them about giving birth to her daughters. She told them about Serena drugging her food. She told them about Dr. Crane declaring her insane. She told them about being taken away from her 3-week-old babies. "I screamed for them," Maya said. Her voice was steady, but tears ran down her face. "I begged to stay with them, but no one listened." Jennifer called Maya that evening with urgent news. Maya answered her phone while driving home from the courthouse. "Jennifer, what is the urgent news?" "The jury is deliberating faster than expected," Jennifer said. "The judge thinks they might reach a verdict by tomorrow morning instead of taking several days." "That is fast," Maya said. "It means the evidence is overwhelming," Jennifer explained. "When juries make quick decisions, it usually means the case is clear. I think this is good news for us." Maya felt relief wash over her. "Thank you for telling me." When Maya arrived home, Chloe and Zoe ran to meet her at the door. They hugged her tightly. "How was school today?" Maya asked. "Good," Chloe said. "Emma invited us to her house on Saturday. Can we go?" "Of course you can," Maya said. She was so happy they were making friends. That night, Maya could not sleep. She kept thinking about the trial. She kept thinking about Serena and Dr. Crane. She wanted justice. She needed justice. The next morning, Jennifer called at 8 o'clock. "The jury has reached a verdict. We need to be at the courthouse at 10. Maya's heart started racing. "Already?" "Yes. I told you it would be fast." Maya left Chloe and Zoe with Mrs. Garcia again. She drove to the courthouse. Journalists crowded around the entrance. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. "Mrs. Roberts, do you think the jury will convict?" "Mrs. Roberts, how do you feel?" Maya did not answer. She walked through the crowd with her head high. Jennifer met her at the entrance, and they went inside together. The courtroom was completely full. Every seat was taken. People stood in the back. Everyone wanted to hear the verdict. Maya sat at the front with Jennifer. Serena and Dr. Crane were brought in by guards. Serena looked pale. Dr. Crane looked like he might be sick. The judge entered. "All rise." Everyone stood. The judge sat and told everyone to sit. "Has the jury reached a verdict?" the judge asked. The jury foreman stood. He was an older man with gray hair and glasses. "Yes, Your Honor, we have." "What is your verdict on the charge of kidnapping against Serena Blake?" "Guilty." People in the courtroom gasped. Serena's face went white. "What is your verdict on the charge of fraud against Serena Blake?" "Guilty." "What is your verdict on the charge of bribery against Serena Blake?" "Guilty." "What is your verdict on the charge of forgery against Serena Blake?" "Guilty." "What is your verdict on all charges against Dr. Richard Crane?" "Guilty on all counts, Your Honor." The courtroom erupted. People clapped. People cried. Some shouted with joy. Maya closed her eyes. Tears ran down her face. Jennifer hugged her tightly. Serena stood up and screamed at the jury. "You are all idiots! I did nothing wrong. Nothing." The judge banged his gavel. "Order! Sit down, Ms. Blake, or I will have you removed." Guards forced Serena back into her chair. She was crying now. All her beauty and elegance were gone. She was just a criminal in an orange uniform. Dr. Crane sat with his head in his hands. He said nothing. The judge spoke. "Sentencing will take place in 2 weeks. Until then, both defendants will remain in custody. This court is adjourned." 2 weeks later, Maya returned to the courthouse for sentencing. This time she brought Chloe and Zoe with her. They were old enough to understand. They deserved to see justice happen. The twins sat next to Maya in the courtroom. They held her hands tightly. The judge entered, and everyone stood. When everyone sat again, the judge looked at Serena and Dr. Crane. "Serena Blake, please stand." Serena stood. Her lawyer stood next to her. She looked defeated. "Serena Blake, you have been found guilty of kidnapping, fraud, bribery, and forgery. These are serious crimes. You destroyed a woman's life. You stole her children. You stole her freedom. You did this for money and greed. I am sentencing you to 30 years in federal prison with no possibility of parole for 20 years. Serena collapsed. Guards caught her before she fell. She screamed and cried as they led her away. "Dr. Richard Crane, please stand." Dr. Crane stood slowly. He looked like he had aged 10 years in the past few weeks. "Dr. Richard Crane, you have been found guilty of fraud, bribery, and conspiracy. You used your position as a doctor to harm innocent women. You falsified medical records. You accepted bribes. You destroyed lives. I am sentencing you to 25 years in federal prison. Your medical license is permanently revoked. You will never practice medicine again." Dr. Crane nodded. He said nothing. Guards led him away. The judge continued. I am also ordering both defendants to pay full restitution of all stolen money plus damages totaling $5 million to Maya Roberts." The courtroom erupted in applause again. Maya held her daughters and cried. It was finally over. Justice had finally come. Outside the courthouse, journalists surrounded Maya. Cameras and microphones were everywhere. Maya stood at a podium with Jennifer beside her. Chloe and Zoe stood close to their mother. "Mrs. Roberts, how do you feel about the verdict?" a journalist asked. Maya took a deep breath. "I feel relief. I feel vindicated. For 7 years, people did not believe me. For 7 years, I was called insane. Today, the truth was proven. Today, justice was served." "What will you do now?" another journalist asked. Maya looked at her daughters. Then she looked at the cameras. "I am using the restitution money to start a foundation. It will be called the Maya Roberts Foundation for Illegally Committed Women. The foundation will provide free legal help to women who are wrongfully held in psychiatric hospitals. What happened to me happens to other women every day. I want to make sure they have help. I want to make sure they have hope." The journalists took notes and snapped photographs. Questions came from every direction. "Will you write a book about your experience? Will you speak at conferences? What message do you have for other victims?" Maya answered each question with strength and grace. She was not hiding anymore. She was not ashamed anymore. She was a survivor and a fighter. 3 days later, Maya went to family court for the custody hearing. Michael had filed a petition to get partial custody of Chloe and Zoe. Maya was determined to stop him. The family court judge was a woman named Judge Catherine Martinez. She was in her 50s with dark hair and serious eyes. She had read all the documents about the case. Michael sat on one side of the courtroom with his lawyer. He looked terrible. He had lost weight. His suit was wrinkled. He looked like a man who had lost everything. Maya sat on the other side with Jennifer and the twins. Judge Martinez called the hearing to order. "I have reviewed this case thoroughly. Mr. Chen, you are requesting partial custody of your daughters Chloe and Zoe. Is that correct?" Michael stood. "Yes, Your Honor. They are my daughters. I love them. I want to be part of their lives." "Mrs. Roberts, you are opposing this request. Why?" Maya stood. "Your Honor, Michael Chen failed to protect our daughters for 7 years. He watched them be abused. He watched them be treated like slaves. He did nothing. He chose comfort over courage. He chose silence over action. I do not believe he deserves any custody." Judge Martinez nodded. "I would like to speak to the children privately." The judge took Chloe and Zoe into her chambers. Maya wanted to go with them, but the judge said they needed to speak alone. In the judge's chambers, Chloe and Zoe sat on a comfortable couch. Judge Martinez sat across from them in a chair. "Chloe and Zoe, I need to ask you some questions," the judge said gently. "You can answer honestly. No one will be angry with you no matter what you say. Do you understand?" Both twins nodded. "Do you want to spend time with your father?" the judge asked. "No," Zoe said immediately. Chloe shook her head. "No, we do not." "Can you tell me why?" the judge asked. Zoe spoke first. "He watched Serena hurt us. He never stopped her. He just hid in his office and pretended nothing was happening. He is not a real father." Chloe's voice was quiet. "He made us feel like we did not matter, like we were not important. A father is supposed to protect you. He never protected us." Judge Martinez listened carefully. "What if I ordered supervised visits? That means you would only see him with another adult present to make sure you are safe." "We still do not want to see him," Zoe said firmly. "Never," Chloe added. The judge brought the twins back to the courtroom. Everyone sat down. Judge Martinez looked at her notes. Then she looked at Michael. "Mr. Chen, I have spoken with your daughters. They have made their feelings very clear. They do not want to see you. Based on the evidence of your failure to protect them, I agree with their decision. I am denying your petition for custody. Furthermore, I am granting Mrs. Roberts full sole legal and physical custody. You will have no custody rights and no visitation rights." Michael's face crumpled. "Please, Your Honor, please, they are my daughters." "You should have remembered that 7 years ago," Judge Martinez said. Her voice was hard. "This hearing is concluded." Michael fell to his knees and cried, but the judge had already left the room. Maya led Chloe and Zoe out of the courthouse. They did not look back. Outside the courthouse, Maya stopped and looked down at her daughters. "He cannot hurt you anymore. You are safe now. Forever." 6 months passed. Spring arrived in Beverly Hills. The trees bloomed with pink and white flowers. The days grew warm and bright. During those 6 months, Maya worked to rebuild their lives. She hired interior designers to renovate the mansion. She wanted to erase every memory of Serena. The designers removed the cold marble floors and replaced them with warm wooden floors. They added soft rugs in every room. They painted the walls in warm colors instead of cold white. They brought in comfortable furniture that looked lived in and welcoming. Maya stood in the entrance hall one afternoon watching the workers paint. Jennifer came to visit and stood next to her. "The house looks completely different," Jennifer said. "Good," Maya replied. "I want Chloe and Zoe to have happy memories here, not painful ones." The biggest change was the attic. Maya hired a team to transform it into a playroom for the twins. They cleaned out all the old dusty furniture and boxes. They installed new windows that let in bright sunlight. They painted the walls in cheerful yellow. They added bookshelves filled with books. They added bins filled with toys. They added art supplies and a craft table. They added beanbag chairs and soft pillows for reading. When it was finished, Maya brought Chloe and Zoe upstairs to see it. "Close your eyes," Maya said. The twins closed their eyes. Maya led them up the narrow stairs to the attic. She opened the door. "Okay, open them." Chloe and Zoe opened their eyes. Their mouths fell open in amazement. The dark, dusty attic where they had hidden and cried was now a bright, beautiful room. "This is for us?" Chloe whispered. "All for you," Maya said. "This is your special space. You can play here. You can read here. You can do anything you want here." Zoe ran to the bookshelves and pulled out a book about women scientists. "Look at all these books." Chloe ran to the art supplies and found markers, colored pencils, and paint. "Can I really use all of this?" "Everything is yours," Maya said. "Everything." The twins also got their own bedrooms. Maya let them choose the colors and decorations. Chloe chose a light blue room. She filled it with drawings she made in art class at school. She hung them on every wall. Her room was full of color and creativity. Zoe chose a green room. She filled it with books about strong women in history. She had books about scientists, activists, and leaders. She read every night before bed. At Westwood Academy, Chloe and Zoe thrived. They were no longer the scared, quiet girls who had arrived 6 months ago. They laughed, they played, they participated in class. Emma remained their best friend. One Saturday, Emma invited them to her house for a sleepover. It was their first sleepover ever. Maya drove them to Emma's house. It was a nice home with a big backyard. Emma's mother, Mrs. Foster, greeted them at the door. "Thank you for letting them come," Maya said. "We are happy to have them," Mrs. Foster said warmly. "Emma talks about them constantly." That night, the 3 girls stayed up late. They watched movies, they ate popcorn and pizza, they painted their nails, they talked about everything and nothing. They giggled until midnight. When Maya picked them up the next morning, Chloe and Zoe were glowing with happiness. "Did you have fun?" Maya asked. "The best time ever," Zoe said. "Can we do it again?" Chloe asked. "Of course," Maya said. Therapy with Dr. Kim continued 3 times a week. The sessions were still difficult sometimes, but they were helping. Chloe was learning that nothing was her fault. She was learning that she was worthy of love. She still had nightmares occasionally, but they were becoming less frequent. Zoe was learning to control her anger. She was learning to talk about her feelings instead of throwing things or yelling. When she felt angry now, she took deep breaths or squeezed a stress ball Dr. Kim had given her. "You are both making incredible progress," Dr. Kim told them one day. "You should be proud of yourselves." "We could not do it without you," Chloe said, "and without Mom." Maya's foundation grew quickly. She hired a team of lawyers, social workers, and advocates. They worked out of an office in downtown Los Angeles. In the first 6 months, the Maya Roberts Foundation helped free 8 women who were illegally held in psychiatric hospitals. Each case was different, but they all involved families trying to steal money or property. The foundation provided free legal representation and support. Maya visited each woman after she was freed. She held their hands and told them they were not alone. She shared her own story and gave them hope. One woman named Lisa Martinez cried when she met Maya. "You saved my life," Lisa said. "I thought I would die in that hospital. No one believed me. But you believed me." "I know what it feels like to not be believed," Maya said. "That is why I started this foundation, so no woman has to go through that alone." Maya also began speaking at conferences. She spoke about illegal psychiatric commitment. She spoke about medical fraud. She spoke about the importance of believing women. At one conference in San Francisco, she spoke to 500 people. She told her story from beginning to end. When she finished, the entire audience stood and applauded for 5 minutes. Several women came to her afterward with tears in their eyes. "Thank you for speaking up," one woman said. "My sister is in a hospital right now. I think she was committed illegally. Can your foundation help?" "Yes," Maya said. "Give me her information. We will look into it immediately." One evening in late June, Maya sat in the newly renovated living room with Chloe and Zoe. They were curled up together on a comfortable couch. Maya was reading them a book about 2 sisters who go on adventures. When she finished the chapter, Chloe looked up at her. "Mom, are you happy now?" Maya smiled. "Yes, sweetheart. I am finally happy." "Me too," Chloe said. She snuggled closer to Maya. Zoe closed the book and looked at both of them. "I am happy too. For the first time in my whole life, I feel happy." Maya put her arms around both girls. "We survived the darkness, all 3 of us. We fought our way through terrible things, but we made it. And now we get to live in the light." "Together," Chloe added. "Always together," Maya said. She kissed both their foreheads. They sat together in comfortable silence. Outside, the sun was setting over Beverly Hills. The sky turned orange and pink and purple. It was beautiful. Maya looked around the room. Everything was different now. The house that had been a prison was now a home. The children who had been scared and broken were now healing and growing. The woman who had been stolen and silenced was now free and strong. Chloe picked up her drawing pad and started sketching. She drew a picture of 3 people holding hands. Above them, she drew a bright sun. At the bottom, she wrote in careful letters, "My family." Zoe picked up her current book. It was about a woman scientist who won the Nobel Prize. Zoe wanted to be a scientist when she grew up, or maybe a lawyer like Jennifer, or maybe someone who helped people like her mother did. She had not decided yet, but now she had choices. Now she had a future. Maya watched her daughters and felt peace wash over her. The past 7 years had been stolen from her. She would never get those years back. She had missed watching her babies grow into children. She had missed their first words, their first steps, their first everything. But she had now. She had today and tomorrow and every day after. She would watch them grow into teenagers. She would watch them graduate from high school. She would watch them go to college. She would watch them become strong, independent women. She would be there for all of it. Nothing would ever separate them again. "Can we have hot chocolate?" Zoe asked suddenly. "And marshmallows?" Chloe added. Maya laughed. "Yes, with as many marshmallows as you want." They went to the kitchen together. Maya made hot chocolate while the twins got out 3 mugs. They added marshmallows and whipped cream. They sat at the kitchen table and talked about their plans for summer vacation. "Can we go to the beach?" Chloe asked. "And can Emma come with us?" Zoe added. Yes to both, Maya said. We can do whatever you want. This summer is about fun and happiness. Later that night, Maya tucked both girls into their own beds in their own beautiful rooms. She kissed Chloe goodnight and turned off her light. Then she went to Zoe's room and did the same. "Mom," Zoe said in the darkness. "Yes, honey? Thank you for never giving up. Thank you for fighting to come back to us." Maya felt tears in her eyes. "I would fight 1,000 battles to get back to you. I love you more than anything in this world." "I love you too, Mom." Maya went to her own bedroom. She stood at the window and looked out at the lights of Beverly Hills. Somewhere out there, Serena was in a prison cell. Dr. Crane was in a prison cell. Michael was alone in a small apartment with no family and no future. But Maya was here, in her home, with her daughters, free and strong and whole. She had won. Justice had been served. Truth had prevailed. Love had conquered all the darkness and pain. Maya Roberts, Chloe Roberts, and Zoe Roberts were finally together. They were finally safe. They were finally home. And nothing in this world would ever separate them again. If you enjoyed today's video, I'm sure you'll love the next one. Don't waste time. Just click on the screen.